You're not ready for this one. Fake baby bumps, courtroom meltdowns, and a rap legend caught in a reality TV spiderweb. Nah, this ain't love and hip-hop. This is love in handcuffs. Because Camron's lawyer just dropped a bombshell. In court so wild, it makes Jussie Smollett's Subway saga look like a bedtime story. Yeah, we said it, so let's break this down. Chrissy Lampkin, the same. Chrissy, who had us all believing she was glowing with that pregnancy, turns out. She wasn't pregnant. At all. Not a little. Not at all. And guess who blew the whole thing open? Not Jim Jones, not VH1, nope. It was Camron S. high-powered, prod-wearing, document-dropping lawyer who strutted into court like he was holding the Infinity Gauntlet and snapped Chrissy's fairy tale to dust. Fake ultrasounds, leaked scripts, brand deals tied to a baby that never existed. And Jim Jones lost IT. We're talking courtroom silence, death stares, and a mic drop moment that'll go down. In reality TV history, is this revenge? Is this justice? Or is this just another twisted episode of a show none of us agreed to star in? Stay right there, we're just getting started. You ever seen a courtroom so tense you could hear an Instagram notification hit the floor? 'Cause that's exactly what went down when Camron's legal pit bull Bradley Elmsworth. Okay? The cleaner walked in suited like a Wall Street assassin and dropped a sealed manila folder on the judge's bench like it was the lost chapter of the Bible. No smiles, no warnings, just smoke. And sitting 2 rows back, pretending like the wig wasn't sliding and her whole life wasn't about to burn down. Miss Chrissy Lampkin herself, holding on to her knockoff Birkin like it could save her from federal charges. Let's rewind for a second, because if you're new here, you probably think this is just another love and hip-hop stunt. Oh, sweet summer child. This is not reality TV anymore. This is a full-blown legal thriller. And everybody's favorite fake baby mama just got her script shredded in public. Here's how it started. For months, Chrissy had the streets buzzing. Pregnancy rumors, cryptic, maternity shots on IG, oversized hoodies at public events. She played the long game. And we all bought it. Even Jim Jones' Dipset royalty, Harlem's own, stood 10 toes beside her, rubbing her stomach on red carpets like he was about to be crowned Dad of the Year. The internet rejoiced. Finally, they said. Chrissy getting her fairy tale. What they didn't know, the fairy tale had a ghostwriter, and that ghostwriter was getting paid in brand deals, because behind the scenes there was no baby, no due date, no doctor. Just a carefully crafted PR campaign built on fraud, smoke, mirrors, and some painfully photoshopped sonogram pics that a Reddit user later traced back to a Google image titled "Sample Ultrasound Free Use." You can't make this up, but Camron, he knew. Or at least, that's what his team is now claiming. See? The rapper turned mogul had allegedly been sitting on receipts for months, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And that moment came when Chrissy tried to paint him as the manipulator in a previous court session tied to a totally separate case. Bad move, sis. You don't throw stones at Camron unless you're ready for the avalanche. Enter Bradley Elmsworth, the man who once got a celebrity chef off tax fraud with nothing but a thumb drive and a prayer. When he stood up in court, adjusted his diamond cufflinks, and uttered the words, "Your Honor, we submit this report as evidence of calculated deception and manipulative fraud." You could feel the tension shift. One reporter said the courtroom dropped 10 degrees. Another swears Chrissy blinked 12 times in 5 seconds. Stress? That wasn't stress. That was checkmate. Inside that manila folder was a 22-page forensic breakdown of the entire pregnancy lie. We're talking emails between Chrissy and VH1 producers negotiating her baby storyline. Altered medical documents with metadata traced to a template generator website. And payment logs for brand deals totaling over $240,000 in prenatal, vitamins, maternity wear, and get this, a fake registry with luxury baby gear she had zero plans to use. Oh, and let's not forget the leaked text messages between Chrissy and a rep from a PR agency. One line read, "Let's stretch the pregnancy arc until episode 7. Tears in episode 5 would be ideal. Push the gender reveal merch if possible. Tears for ratings.n Jim. He was there, sitting right behind Chrissy. Face carved from stone. Not a blink, not a twitch. Just a man watching the foundation of his life collapse in slow motion, while the woman he called his partner looked like. She was praying the ground would open and swallow her whole. But the kicker, one payment slip in that folder revealed a wire transfer from Camron's own business account to a media firm allegedly working with Chrissy behind Jim's back. The note, just 5 chilling words. Keep her relevant. Number. Baby, now it's messy. Because that one line turned Cam from concerned third party into possible co-conspirator. Did he help stage it? Did he fund it? Or did he just want revenge? Either way, the courtroom wasn't having it. The judge leaned in, read the report, and according to one source, muttered holy *T under his breath. Courtroom gasped. 1. Woman literally clutched her pearls. Others started whispering Psalm 91 like it was Sunday morning. Chrissy's lawyer tried to object, called the report defamatory and inflammatory. The judge, he smirked and said, "This court sees. No reason to suppress the truth. The public deserves to know." It's just like that. It was official. The whole mess was entered into public record. And the media. They went feral. Camron exposes Chrissy's fake pregnancy in courtroom bombshell. Jim Jones watches in shock as years of lies unfold. 22 pages of deception. The pregnancy that never was. Within minutes, TikTok was flooded with breakdown videos. Side-by-sides of Chrissy's baby bump compared to pillow stuffing. And remixes of Jim's classic lines over courtroom footage. But nothing could top what happened next. Asterisk. Because just as recess was called and Chrissy was being ushered out the side door, trying to hide her face behind oversized sunglasses that screamed designer but discounted, the judge received one final file, a video. Anonymous source, encrypted, time-stamped, the footage. Grainy but clear. Chrissy and Camron in a hotel room, dim lighting. He's holding a phone. She's seated on the edge of the bed, visibly nervous. The conversation, "Chrissy, he'll believe it all. I just have to cry. Camron, just don't slip. I'll handle the rest." That was it. The whole courtroom froze. Because that wasn't just confirmation of a lie, that was a script meeting. The judge stopped the exit, recalled the court, played the clip. The silence afterward, deafening. You could hear a pin drop in Times Square. Jim stood up, turned to the judge, and in the coldest, calmest voice said, "I don't know who I'm more ashamed of, her or myself." And then he walked out. No looking back. No mic drop. Just quiet devastation. Outside, it was chaos. Protesters had already gathered. Signs reading reality is not reality, and VH1 lied to us all were waving in the air. Brands started pulling Chrissy's endorsements in real time. Former castmates jumped on IG Live to say, "I always knew something was off," while VH1 remained radio silent. Their Twitter, untouched. Their homepage, suspiciously Chrissy-free. And then came the subpoenas. Quick. Because what started as a courtroom scandal had now triggered a federal investigation. One that wasn't just coming for Chrissy, but for VH1 itself. Homeland Security's Cyber Division had allegedly been tapped to review 5 years' worth of production notes, NDA contracts, and medical documentation used in filming. Why? Because this wasn't just a personal live. This was a network-wide conspiracy to manufacture trauma for profit. And the rabbit hole. Oh, we're still falling by the time court resumed. The energy in the room had shifted completely. Wasn't just tension anymore, was dread. Even the court reporters were typing slower, like they were scared of what might drop next. Chrissy re-entered the room behind her legal team, But the power she used to walk with? Gone. No hair flip. No designer strut. No fake baby glow. Just a dull, drained face that screamed one thing. She knew it was over. Asterisk, but the judge wasn't finished. Oh no. He leaned forward and announced that the court would officially be accepting all forensic evidence. Video files and financial documents as admissible under the fraud statutes. Chrissy's lawyer immediately pushed back, claiming defamation, invasion of privacy, and emotional harm. The judge didn't even blink. If she wanted privacy, he said, she should have stayed out of the script-writing room. The moment those words dropped, the gallery gasped. One woman literally covered her mouth like she was watching a horror movie, and in many ways, she was.
Nice.
Because what came next turned this scandal into a full-blown media firestorm. After. Another new documents were presented by Camron's legal team. Fake contracts, email threads, private DMs between Chrissy and production, staff all spelling out the same message. This pregnancy was never real. It was a product, a storyline, a lie packaged and sold to a willing public. And then came the financial breakdown. According to the report, Chrissy allegedly signed off on over $240,000 worth of brand deals while pretending to be pregnant. Prenatal vitamins. Sponsored maternity fashion line. Sponsored skincare collab. For hormonal breakouts, sponsored. The report even showed one shocking detail. Chrissy had received a $50,000 advance from a baby bottle brand for a baby that didn't exist. The cherry on top. That infamous maternity shoot with the pastel background and white lace robe. The whole thing was staged in a rented studio with a prosthetic bump from a costume supply store in Queens. At this point, the courtroom was unrecognizable. Reporters were calling their editors from inside the gallery. Cameramen were camped outside waiting for Chrissy to be escorted out in handcuffs. And Jim Jones, gone, hadn't returned since dropping that cold-blooded line in court, word on the street. He was meeting with documentary producers in LA, a tell-all in the works. Title rumored to be unscripted, The Jim Jones Files. A raw, unfiltered breakdown of his life with Chrissy, the betrayal, and the fallout of finding out the woman he loved had turned his life into a scripted ratings machine. Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, the prosecution had one more move. They called their next witness. Never heard of her. You're not supposed to? She was a behind-the-scenes executive assistant for VH1 who worked directly with Chrissy and 2 showrunners during the peak of the fake pregnancy arc. And today, she was about to become the network's worst nightmare. Chenas walked in calm, composed, holding a worn-out laptop and a folder thicker than Chrissy's contour. And when she took the stand, what she revealed was nothing short of nuclear. The pregnancy was planned, she said, from start to finish. It was pitched to the network as an emotional hook to keep viewers invested past episode 5. Everything was controlled, from the tears to the product mentions to the belly rubs. The courtroom froze. She went on to explain how Chrissy was allegedly coached before scenes, sent live prompts through text during interviews, and even filmed a fake OB/GYN visit with a prop ultrasound. One assistant, she claimed, was tasked with making sure the fake belly didn't shift under wardrobe. We're talking daytime soap-level production with zero shame. Then Shanice dropped the bomb. She had audio from a closed-door production meeting on tape, where Chrissy was allegedly told, "Just keep the story going, we'll handle Jim." Another voice, reportedly a VH1 executive, "Let him think it's real. Conflict sells." That's when the judge stopped everything. He ordered the court clerk to pause proceedings. Federal oversight was now being activated. VH1 wasn't just part of the drama, they were part of the fraud. And just like that, subpoenas were signed. Homeland Security's cyber team had already been dispatched. Laptops, phones, cloud backups, all of it was fair game now. Chrissy sat motionless, like her soul had left the room before the gavel even hit the wood, and the hits just kept coming. Chenas named names. 2 producers, a PR liaison, even an editor who reportedly pieced together footage out of sequence to make Chrissy appear more emotional than she really was. None of it was. Rial Chines said, "It was just content." Then came the receipts. Actual printed screenshots of emails where Camron himself was allegedly CC'd. Meetings where he advised on storyline development. Calls where he encouraged Chrissy to lean in. One line read, "If the sympathy swings to Jim, we lose steam. Make her cry again?" That's when the courtroom fell apart. The judge leaned back, visibly disturbed. Chrissy shook her head in disbelief, lips trembling but silent. A woman who once dominated every reunion show was now crushed under the weight of her own lie. Outside the courthouse, chaos was spreading like wildfire. Old cast members started posting cryptic tweets. "Told y'all not everything was what? It seemed so glad I left when I did. Reality TV. Try reality trap." The backlash was instantaneous. 2 brands dropped Chrissy within an hour. One clothing sponsor issued a statement. "We were misled. We do not condone manipulation of the public for personal gain." VH1. Still dead silent. Not a post. Not a tweet. Not even a PR statement. But Cam couldn't resist. That night, he posted a single IG story. Black background, white text. "I ain't say I was innocent. I just said I wasn't about to be the one left holding the lie. That was it. Nothing more." But it said everything. Because while Cam's team tried to maintain distance, the receipts were closing in. If he advised Chrissy, participated in meetings, or funded media firms that helped build the deception, then he was no longer just a whistleblower. He was a co-director. The next morning, headlines exploded. Camron implicated in pregnancy fraud. Scheme VH1 hit with federal subpoenas. Jim Jones silent as new evidence emerges. And while the world scrambled to keep up, the courtroom was preparing for one final revelation. A sealed affidavit submitted anonymously, but later confirmed to come from a West Coast attorney representing another member of Dipset. It contained a bombshell no one saw coming. According to the statement, not only was the pregnancy fake, so was the proposal. That's right. That grand engagement moment, the one that went viral, made grown women cry and trended for days. Allegedly staged. According to the affidavit, it was orchestrated as a loyalty trap. A strategic move to lock Jim Jones into the narrative before the fake pregnancy arc could begin. It wasn't about love, the document read. It was about control. Asterisk, and just like that, the pieces started clicking into place. The sudden push for marriage, the weird timing of the baby rumors, the unexplained emotional breakdowns on screen. The affidavit was real, and Chrissy didn't just lie about a baby, she manipulated a man into proposing for the cameras, all for a contract extension and storyline control. The courtroom was stunned. Even the judge had to pause before continuing. Because at this point, the entire case wasn't just about fraud, it was about weaponized emotion. Industrial level, emotional manipulation, packaging heartbreak and betrayal into 30-minute segments for entertainment. And Chrissy still said nothing. No statement, no apology. No defense. Just a heavy silence and the haunting look of someone who finally realized the script had flipped as the judge reviewed the sealed affidavit implicating Camron in staging. Chrissy's proposal, the courtroom was practically vibrating with tension. Nobody dared to move, not even Chrissy, who now looked less like a reality TV queen and more like a ghost of her former self, sunken and scared. The judge tapped his gavel once, sharply. "I am ordering immediate verification of the contents of this affidavit and freezing all financial assets tied to any contracts resulting from the alleged staged proposal." That meant endorsements, streaming royalties, even performance residuals, all locked. The network's lawyers didn't even object. They couldn't. They knew what was coming. And so did the audience. Outside the courthouse, a crowd had swelled so large they had to barricade the entire block. News vans, bloggers, ex-cast members live streaming for clout. Everyone wanted a front row seat to the collapse of VH1's House of Lies. Free Jimmy trended on Twitter. Fire VH1 hit the top 10, but the real hit was still coming. Who's? Right before the court recessed again, another bombshell dropped. A new witness had come forward, not a lawyer, not a producer. Just a former intern, yes. An intern named Maya, who'd spent one summer sorting production hard drives and coffee runs. And apparently, she saw more in 8 weeks than some cast members saw in 8 years. Maya testified under oath that she was instructed to digitize and catalog unused storyline footage for internal archive purposes. What she found: unedited conversations, footage of Chrissy rehearsing tearful confessions, shots of producers whispering instructions to her mid-scene, and most Dominga raw clips showing Camron reviewing a mock proposal set. In the footage, he allegedly says, "This spot works." He won't know it's a setup. Just tell her to act surprised. When Maya turned over the footage to federal investigators, they confirmed the timestamps aligned with the supposed spontaneous proposal aired by VH1 2 years ago. So now let's tally this up. A fake pregnancy? Check. A staged proposal? Double check. Financial fraud, emotional manipulation, and federal subpoenas. It's all confirmed. The courtroom had officially turned into a live demolition site, and VH1 was at the center of ground zero. One of the network's own executives was even seen leaving the courthouse flanked by federal agents, shielding his face with a folder as if that could stop the cameras from catching the shame. Chrissy, still in custody with her hands shackled at the waist, didn't even flinch when the judge announced she would remain detained without bond until her formal fraud trial. Her lawyer whispered something into her ear, but Chrissy just stared forward, blank, defeated, maybe realizing that the empire she built off lies had finally collapsed brick by fraudulent brick. And Camron, he wasn't in court. But his legal team was suddenly much quieter. No more smug remarks, no more clever lines, just shifty eyes and closed mouths. Because when that proposal video leaked to the press, and yes, it did, Cam went from clever puppet master to potential federal defendant overnight. Meanwhile, Jim Jones had become an unexpected symbol of public sympathy. The man many had dismissed as just another rapper caught up in drama was now being seen as the only genuine person in a sea of manipulators. His Dalal docuseries Unscripted, The Jim Jones Files, had already entered final negotiations with 3 major streaming platforms. Netflix was reportedly offering 7 figures for exclusive rights. Amazon had flown him to LA for a closed-door screening. Hulu was pushing for an episodic format with post-episode breakdowns. Jim wasn't just walking away from Chrissy, he was walking into a rebrand. From broken fiancé to truth teller. And as for the public, they weren't just angry, they were disgusted. What had once been considered entertaining drama was now viewed as industrial gaslighting, a full-blown exploitation machine that turned private pain into profit. Tweets began resurfacing. Old interviews where Chrissy hinted at not being ready for kids suddenly reframed as foreshadowing. Interviews where Jim looked confused or distant now seen as genuine moments of distress. Reinterpreted through the lens of betrayal. Fans, who once rooted for Chrissy, now labeled her TV's greatest con artist. VH1's silence, once strategic, had become damning. Their social accounts remained frozen. Their legal team issued a vague one-liner: "We are cooperating fully with federal investigators." But that didn't stop the storm. More cast members began purging their social media of VH1 tags, some even issuing statements of regret. One former reality star posted, "They told me to fake a miscarriage arc. I said no. They cut me from the season." Another wrote, "That reunion fight. Scripted. That breakup. Faked. None of it was real." Then came the final blow, a class action. Lawsuit was filed. Nearly a dozen former cast members, some minor, some major, banded together to sue the network for emotional manipulation, unsafe filming environments, and coerced storyline participation. The lawsuit accused VH1 of intentionally weaponizing trauma, scripting abuse, and exploiting mental health issues for ratings. Within the documents were damning claims, fake therapy sessions, manipulated timelines, forced conflicts, and psychological damage. One producer was quoted saying, "We don't need them to heal, we need them to cry." Federal agents responded swiftly. VH1's production offices in New York were raided under sealed warrant. Hard drives, contracts, private servers seized. And as the industry began to unravel, the ripple effects hit hard. Sponsors pulled out, streaming deals were frozen. Networks, once eager to pick up VH1's canceled shows, now ghosted them completely. An entire genre of television reality-based, trauma-driven entertainment suddenly found itself under ethical scrutiny. The era of scripted reality was collapsing, and Chrissy, her world shrank by the day. With each headline, each leaked message, each betrayal made public, she became more isolated. No more glam squads. No more staged entrances, just an orange jumpsuit and fluorescent lighting. Her mugshot made the rounds like wildfire. No makeup, no filter, just the cold flash of accountability. And for the woman who once built an entire persona off control, the one thing she no longer had was power. Cam, too, was slipping. His fans were split, some defending him as a strategist who just played the game better, others labeling him a master manipulator who weaponized love for power. He tried to clap back on social media. Posted a short clip of himself laughing in the studio. Caption, "They actin' like I'm the villain. I just read the script." But the internet wasn't buying it. One comment read, "You didn't just read the script. You co-wrote it in blood." Another said, "At least villains own their actions. You hiding behind smoke?" By the time Chrissy's trial date was officially set, the courthouse had become a pilgrimage site. People came from other states just to catch a glimpse. Jim remained silent, rarely seen, letting his future documentary team handle the storytelling. But his silence spoke volumes. Because in a saga built on fake tears, fake proposals, and a fake pregnancy's heartbreak was the only thing that was ever real. The judge closed the final pretrial session with a single chilling statement. "This court has seen lies before, but never this elaborate, never this monetized, and never with this many enablers. The trial will determine guilt, but the truth is already out." And just like that, the gavel fell. The fake baby, the phony proposal, the love story built on betrayal. It was all over. No more scripts, no more edits. Just the wreckage left behind by a scandal so twisted, it turned reality TV into a federal investigation. Chrissy didn't just play Jim. She played the audience, the industry, and maybe even herself. And Cam, he didn't escape. He just hasn't. Crashed, yet so now. With the truth scorched into public record, only one question remains. How many other lies have we been fed in the name of entertainment? Because if this was all Fiquette else is, stay tuned. Because this wasn't the final episode. It was only the pilot, so, after all that, after the fake baby bump, the staged proposal, the courtroom chaos, and the receipts hotter than a summer in Harlem, here we are. The veil has officially been ripped off. Chrissy's empire in ashes. Cam's innocence on life support. And Jim, he walked out with nothing but the truth. Finally, that might just be enough. But now we turn to you. Yep, you watching this with your jaw on the floor and your popcorn halfway finished. Because, let's be real, was any of this really surprising? Or have we just gotten so used to being lied to by reality TV that we forgot to question what's real and what's reality scripted for emotional engagement? Do you believe Cam was masterminding it from the jump? Or did he just get dragged in too deep? Was Chrissy the victim of the system, more the architect of the con? And Jim, was he just blind? Or was he really the only one who ever kept it 100? Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't hold back. We want the smoke. And if you're still sitting there shocked, confused, or just plain entertained, go ahead and hit that like button. Slam subscribe like Chrissy, slam that tissue in court. And turn on those notifications because the next chapter in this twisted love and hip-hop saga, oh, it's already on its way. Another cast member just got subpoenaed and this time it's not about a fake pregnancy. It's about fake therapy, manufactured abuse, and a cast member threatening to leak everything. So buckle up, stay locked, and remember, in this world, the drama isn't real, but the fallout sure is. See you on the next drop.